Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be popping in here live. It is Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and just like every week, we're going to be going in on a different topic. If you've never been here with me before, my name is Danielle Massi. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and intuitive shadow worker, and I wanted to do something a little bit different today because we've been talking so much about shadow work and manifestation and everything that you need to know to make your life exactly what you want it to be. And something we haven't yet touched on is the idea of a soul purpose and why you are here on this planet at this time. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of do something a little bit different to talk about soul purpose. So, hey guys, hi, hey LB. And so I wanted to pop on here and talk about that today. I want to know from you guys who are watching this live if you've ever heard about a soul purpose. And if you have, tell me your experience, or if you haven't, be sure to share that too, because I'm definitely interested in this as a whole. You know, each one of us, we all incarnated here at this time for a reason. And considering what a shit show the past couple of years have been, it must be a really good one for us to have wanted to be here at this time. We did choose this though. We chose to be here. And that's because we have a soul's purpose. There's a reason why each one of us is born and why we're born many times throughout our lifetimes. And that one purpose tends to repeat itself over and over and tends to show up in every lifetime that we see. And I first got into really being interested about soul purposes when I started doing past life work. Because something that I found that was really interesting was when I would do a past life regression for someone, we would see a past life where they had a very specific role and a very specific reason for being. And then when we related it to what they were going through at the current moment, it seemed like the purpose was the same. It hadn't changed, just the setting did. And I thought that was sort of interesting, right? And maybe there's enough of that it's a coincidence. Maybe there's something more to it. But it was at least interesting enough that I wanted to find out. According to you guys, not much about soul's purposes. Would love to know more. Working on living mine every day? Yes. Working on figuring mine out. So this is where it gets really interesting, because we're definitely going to talk about that today and figuring out your soul's purpose and why you're here. So when I started going back with the same people who'd done past life regressions with me in the past, we would do them again and again and again. And we would see that throughout many lifetimes, that purpose persisted. It was always the same. We saw it 10 times. We saw it 20 times. I've seen it in my own past lives a bunch of times. And there's different circumstances that happen in our lives to get us to the point of remembering and waking up to our soul's purpose. It's a journey, and it's a journey we all take. And some of us don't get there. Like sometimes we have lives where we're just really self-centered, we're focused on what we're doing, we're not really caring about what our soul's purpose is, and we just are getting by. And that's fine. We all have many lifetimes. There'll be other chances for that. But sometimes, that I've noticed a lot from people who I've worked with in this lifetime, sometimes we need to find out, and sometimes we need to understand why we're here in order to step into our role. Sarah just said, I often wonder why I'm still here. After my stroke, I should have died. I had a ruptured aneurysm. Wow, that's unbelievable. And yeah, with a ruptured aneurysm, you probably should have died. And so your purpose here is so much bigger than you because you had to survive that. You had to be here. I think about my own cervical cancer journey. Like, why did that have to happen to me? Why did I have to go through that? And I think that actually awakened me up to my soul's purpose and brought me to the point where I understood that I had a soul purpose. And then I wasn't living it before that, and I needed to start living that out. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is some of the soul purposes that I've seen from the people that I've worked with before. And you can start to feel into these and see if any of them resonate with you, because what I have found is there tends to be archetypes. There are a handful of types of soul purposes that I see time and time again. And I even saw it today. I had my Create Your Light Academy group. We meet on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when we meet, we always do a different meditation. It's never the same. And today we did one that was really about activating that soul purpose and seeing it in other lifetimes to understand that it's repeated over and over and over again. And the archetypes were present within that group of women, the 10 women that I have in this round. I saw them multiple times, like I've seen them so many times before. So let's start with the first. The first one that I see so often, especially when I'm working with light workers, is this archetype of someone who needs to hold the light. So sometimes our soul purpose can be to just hold the light, to just have this really high vibration, to do the spiritual work for ourselves, to get ourselves to that high vibration. And our only job is just to hold it, to just kind of be almost like a lighthouse. And when we do that for other people, if that's our soul's purpose, we sort of become that lighthouse where we're a beacon of hope. We're inspiration. We're someone that other people can look up to, and we're someone that other people want to be around. So often, career-wise, the people that you find in those sort of roles are motivational speakers, are people who have like a big presence, like an actor or an actress. They hold a position where they can keep this energy and this light, but it's also sort of separate. And in that separation, there's first off a lot of safety because they can keep that light and hold it really strong from a distance. But there's also isolation because in holding that light, you don't really want to commingle with other energies because when you do, you feel your energy move down. And so when I see this in people's past lives, it usually comes from a place of being that powerful figure, that person who has to kind of be above. And remember, we are all equal. Everyone is equal to each other. We're all one. And so really it's just about holding the energy in such a way that other people aren't going to impact it and they can continue to hold that light. One of the girls who I had in the Create Your Light Academy this morning actually remembers her first lifetime because that was the meditation we did today. To go in and actively remember that first lifetime that our soul ever experienced, where we tapped into our soul's purpose, where we learned what it was and got to experience it. And she remembered how isolated she felt and how lonely, but her job was just to hold the light, to just be that beacon of light. So that's one. Another one that I've seen time and time again is to be someone who I like to call the shepherd. Now, the shepherd archetype is someone who kind of brings people over to the other side. These are the people who are like, come on, everybody, like it's time to do your spiritual work. It's time to wake up. And what they do is they kind of ferret souls across the way. So in terms of past lives, the way that I've seen this come up before in very early lifetimes off planet, it looks like people who have had the job of taking people from their home planet and getting them off planet to save them because the planet was doomed because, yeah, there we go. We have a shepherd in the group. Hey, Brooke. When we have these people who have done this before, their job is to get people off planet, to save them, to protect them, to get them and their soul away and to somewhere that was safe. And that job continues now in this lifetime where you guys have all felt it in the past 2 years especially, but really in the past 5 or 6, there's been this huge shift energetically across the board in the collective. And as this happens and people are waking up, it can feel really scary. It can feel unnerving and earth-shattering and paradigm shifting. And those shepherds are meant to take all the souls who are waking up and go, come on, follow me. I'm going to bring you over to the other side. Let's go. I'm going to bring you over here. And when they do that, they can kind of bring them over to safety and escort them and help them heal. And that job is extremely important and a really cool one. One of the other major archetypes that I wanted to point out that I see all the time with soul's purpose is the healer archetype, where it's really just about getting your hands dirty and kind of waking things up in people. And this is one that I feel like is my soul's purpose. So the job of the healer is just to kind of activate something within the people that they work with. The reason why this is different than the shepherd is really focused on the end results. Like, we've got to get you over to safety. We got to get you there. Whereas I feel like the healer archetype isn't so much about that. It's more about, I'm going to put it in your hands. I'm going to give you everything that you need. I'm going to present it to you. I'm going to make you question reality. And when you do that, it is up to you to take it wherever you're going to go. And I become hands off. I take a step back and let you go from there, wherever it is that you need to go. I've seen this happen in past lives as people who have been witches. I feel like this is a super common archetype, or past life purpose or soul's purpose. People who have been shamans in past life. People who have been medicine women or medicine men in their tribe. And this is just such a cool archetype. And I'm not just saying that because it is mine. All of them are really cool. But when we think about these 3 different ones, we have those ones who are holding the light. We have the shepherds who are ferreting people over to the light. And then we have the healers in there getting their hands dirty, really getting people to open up to the light. So it's always about, at the end of the day, opening people up to their own divinity, to their sovereignty, to all of their power and their existence. And so now I want to point out one last archetype that is extremely important. This one can be light workers, but more often than not, this one tends to fall into the hands of people who are not light workers. And this main archetype is just limitless expression of self. This archetype is just love. And I see this often in people who are not light workers because their entire job throughout their past lives, through their present life, is just to live a life that feels good, a life of love, getting rid of limitations, getting rid of blocks, just opening up to healing and not doing it for any reason other than for self. And why is this important? Because when we do that, we're elevating the entire vibration of the planet. And this is also just as important as all of the other archetypes, because so many people, when we're opening ourselves up to healing and receiving, we're doing this amazing, massive shifting healing work across the planet because we ourselves are elevating that energy. We're bringing everybody up. We're making it safe for other people to heal. We're making it safe for other people to be themselves. We are truly embodying who we are as divine feminine, as divine masculine, as sovereign beings. We're just being open. And so that archetype is really important. So like I said before, I see that one more often in people who are not light workers. When light workers step into this plane, it's usually one of the first three because that job that we're bringing in from our past lives needs to repeat itself. It's cool how we start to see this stuff happen in past lives because we all get a sense of what it was that we've been doing for a long time. We've been doing this over and over and over again. So you yourself, let's say you are a shepherd in this lifetime. If that resonates and that feels right, your job in this life might be that of a nurse. It might be that of someone who is literally doing that now in some form, working as a therapist, working as someone who primarily your job is to take people who need help and bring them over to safety, bring them over into that space. Or maybe you're a teacher or a motivational speaker, and that's why you are one of those light holders. It's really important to understand what your soul's purpose is and to get into the nitty-gritty of how that shows up for you. Because what that does, when you understand why you're here, why you're on this planet, what you're doing, you can align your entire life to fit that. Because when it's not aligned with that, things go wrong, things feel off, it doesn't feel right. You know, like you might have a job, let's just say, I'll use the TikTok joke, you're an accountant, right? Let's just say you're an accountant in this life. And what you're supposed to be doing is acting as a shepherd. You're supposed to be helping people who are waking up. Let's just say you're working as an accountant and your job is just working with numbers. You're not really connecting with people. You're probably going to feel drained. You're probably going to feel like something is missing. You're going to feel like you're not living out your purpose. Like life doesn't have as much meaning as you want it to. And you might find those small joys in other ways. Like you might have kids. And in doing the work with your children, you might find pockets of that because that feels right. That feels like you're taking these souls, you're helping them wake up, you're bringing them to safety. That echoes enough of your soul's purpose that it feels okay. But it's just a piece. It's not everything. And so when you actually understand your soul's purpose and why you're here, then you can start making some other choices and go, okay, well, I spent all that money to get a degree and to become an accountant. I've been doing that for a long time. So I'm going to keep doing that. But on the side, I'm going to do my own spiritual healing. And I'm going to talk to people about it. I'm going to make it safe for them to also be questioning their reality and wondering about our purpose and to go meditate or sit in the woods and talk to trees and stuff like that. Because as weird as that is, that's kind of cool. And if other people are doing it, then it's not going to feel so weird for me. And you just start to shepherd them over in that way. Then all of a sudden we might feel more fulfilled. We might feel like life makes more sense, like we feel good. And so one of my favorite things to do with people, whether it's in the Create Your Light Academy or in one-to-one work, is to help them understand their soul's purpose. Because when you understand why you're here and what it is that you're doing here, why you incarnated at this time, then you can start to think longer term. Like, where is it, if that's everything that's going on for me, that's what I need to be doing, where is it that I want to go? Where is it that I want to be, say, a year from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? Once I have that in my mind, I can create a path. And as I walk that path, I'm going to start feeling better and better and better and better. I'm going to keep getting closer to my sovereignty, to my divinity. I'm going to keep feeling closer to my purpose, because that's literally what I'm doing. I'm doing everything I can to get myself there. Something else I notice with people is when you try and fight against it and go, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, I've done that in other lifetimes. It doesn't feel right now, which it does. You're just telling yourself it doesn't. It doesn't feel right now. I don't want to do this. And you keep being the accountant. You keep burying your head in the sand and not doing the work. What happens is things start to fall apart over time. We develop disease. We start having issues come up with us. We have life that doesn't feel as fulfilling as we want it to, or as it could be. And so we end up getting to the end of our days and going, I wish I would have done something else. I wish I had it to do over. Which technically you do, because you'll be reincarnated and you will literally start this whole process over from start to finish of finding your soul's purpose, activating yourself, waking up to your sovereignty, and then embodying it. And so if you're someone who's interested in finding out what your soul's purpose is, shadow work is a huge segue into that. Because when we go into what it is that your soul has done before in other lifetimes, when we see what has happened to you throughout your childhood that makes you feel and think a certain way, you're going to find it unintentionally. It's going to be written in every piece of your genetic coding. It's in your ancestral lines. It's in everything that you do. And then you can start to do that work to embody it. And so that's it for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions about soul purpose. It's 222 here, so this feels like the perfect time to wrap up. And we'll end it there. I'm sending you guys all so much love. Mwah. I will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.